Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Jai Sri Hari Vishnu Bhagwan. Jai Mahalakshmi Mata. This is the 19th chapter of the Vaishakh Mas Mahatmya of the Vaishnav Khand of the Skand Puran. Chapter 19, The Curse of Wind God. The hunter said, "Earlier this was said by you that the splendid holy rites of the Lord should be performed with Vishnu in view, and that the Vaishakh rites are also among them. O Brahman, of what nature is that Vishnu? What is his characteristic feature? What is the proof of his existence? By whom can this great Lord be known? Of what nature are the holy rites of Vishnu? By which rite is Hari pleased? O highly intelligent Brahman, explain this to me, your servant." On being asked by the Vyad hunter, thus the Brahman spoke once again after bowing down to Narayanan, the Lord of the worlds, free from ailments. Shank said, "Listen, O hunter, I shall describe the form of Vishnu. It is spotless, devoid of sins. It cannot be adequately comprehended by Brahma and others, and by sages of pure, sanctified souls. The Lord of all has been described as one with full powers and one full of good qualities. The Lord whose form consists of existence, knowledge and bliss is devoid of attributes. It is devoid of kalas, parts, and is infinite. This entire universe, consisting of mobile and immobile beings, has never been otherwise. That is, this has continued to exist from the beginning. The Lord is the support of all the desires and hopes of this universe. The universe is always under the control of the Lord. Now, I shall tell the features of Brahman, the Supreme Soul, to you. He is called Vishnu. From him all these take place: origin, sustenance, annihilation, repetition, control, knowledge, bondage, salvation, and livelihood. This Lord is termed Brahman too. He is honored by the wise seers. They call him the veritable Brahman. Afterwards, Brahma and Omars too were called so. The word Brahma, along with its attributes, is interpreted as Brahma, the creator, etc., by persons who know it. No one else has the status of Brahma because they have only a part of his power. The birth, etc., of this great Lord can be known only through scriptural texts. O highly intelligent one, the scriptural texts are Vedas, Smritis, Puranas, which have Vedas and Smritis for their soul, Itihasas, epics, legends and mythology, Pancharatra and Bharat. Mahavishnu can be known only through these and not through anything else at all. No man who is not conversant with the Vedas things can think about Vishnu anywhere. Neither through the sense organs, nor through inferences, nor through arguments is it possible to know Lord Narayanan, the eternal Lord, who can be known only through the Vedas. Individual souls that are always under his control become liberated by knowing his good qualities, manifestations, and activities in accordance with their intellectual attainment. The power of Vishnu is present in each of these Devas, sages, Pitras, and mothers. It shall be comparatively more or less in each of these. Through perception, verbal testimony, and inference, one should, at the outset, understand the excellent man in regard to strength, knowledge, and happiness. Bhoot, goblin, is 100 times more than he. One should know that it is endowed with knowledge, etc. One shall know that human beings and Gandharvas are 100 times superior to Bhoot. One should know the Devas who identify themselves with the Tattvas are superior to them. The 7 sages are more excellent than the Devas who identify themselves with the Tattvas. Agni is more excellent than the 7 sages. The sun and others are superior to Agni. Guru is superior to sun. Pran, vital air, is superior to Guru. Indra of great strength is superior to Pran. Goddess Girija is superior to Indra. Shambhu, the sire of the universe, is superior to the goddess. Buddhi, cosmic intellect, the great goddess, is superior to individual Buddhi, and Pran is superior to Buddhi. There is nothing greater than Pran. Everything is established in Pran. This universe is evolved out of Pran. This universe has Pran for its soul. All this visible world, as if sued to Pran. It is active only through Pran. They say that it is the support of everything and has the luster of the blue cloud. It is the Sutra, that which makes everything function. This Pran is sustained merely by the side glance of Lakshmi. That Lakshmi gets a portion of the mercy of the Lord of Devas. There is nothing greater than Vishnu, nor even on a par with him in any respect. The hunter asked, "How did Pran called Sutra become superior to individual souls? How can this be decisively said? O Holy Lord, how is the superiority of Pran? Explain this also. O Brahman, how the Lord is greater than Pran?" Shank said, "Listen, O hunter, I shall recount to you what you have asked about the decision in regard to the superiority of Pran in all the Jivas, individual souls. Formerly in the Padmakalpa, Narayana, the eternal Lord, Janardhan, created Devas beginning with Brahma and said thus, O prominent Devas, I shall install God Brahma as your protector and master of this empire, universe. You appoint that Deva as a crown prince who is superior to you, who is richly endowed with excellent moral character and possesses qualities of heroism, liberal mindedness, etc. On being told thus by the Lord, all Devas with Shukra as the leader began to contend with one another. I shall become so. I shall become so. All of them then began to argue. Some knew that the sun god was the greatest god. Some said that Shukra was the greatest, and some said that Kama was the greatest. Some kept quiet. Unable to come to a decision, they went to Narayana with a view to seek his decision. After bowing down to him, all the immortal ones said with palms joined in reverence, O Mahavishnu, all of us have pondered over the matter clearly. We do not know at all, but Deva is superior to all the others among us. You alone proclaim your decision, as the Devas are indeed in doubt. On being requested thus by all the immortal ones, the Lord laughingly said thus, This is the Vairaj body. When he goes out of it, the body will fall. When it enters the body, it rises up. Hence, this God is certainly superior to you all and none else at all. On being told thus, all of them said, So be it. At the outset, the leading Sura named Jayant came out through the foot. Then they called it lame. The body did not fall. It continued to hear, drink, speak, smell, and see, though not able to walk. Then the patriarch named Daksh came out through the private part. Then they called it Ananch. The body did not fall. It continued to hear, drink, speak, smell, see, and move about. Afterwards, Indra, the lord of all immortal ones, came out through the hand. They called it one devoid of hands. The body did not fall then. It continued to hear, drink, speak, smell, see, and move about. The sun god, the most excellent one among the refulgent bodies, came out through the eyes. Then they called it one-eyed blind. The body did not fall. It continued to hear, drink, speak, smell, and move, but not see. Afterwards, Nasatyas, the physicians of the universe, came out through the nostrils. They called it one who did not smell. The body did not fall. It continued to hear, drink, speak, and move, but not smell. The quarters came out through the ears. Then the body did not fall. They called it deaf, but not dead at all. It continued to drink and speak, but not hear or move about. Thereafter, Varun came out through the tongue. Then the body did not fall. They called it tongue. They called it one who cannot relish the taste. It continued to be alive, move about, eat, understand, and breathe. Then Vahani, the Lord and presiding deity of speech, came out through the organ of speech. Then they called it dumb, but the body did not fall. It continued to be alive, move about, eat, understand, and breathe. Afterwards, Rudra came out through the mind, Rudra of the nature of the enlightener of the mind. Then they called it Jada, sluggish, dull. The body did not fall then. It continued to be alive, move about, eat, understand, and breathe. Afterwards, Pran, vital air, came out. Then they came to know him to be dead. The Devas, who were surprised in their minds, said thus, He who makes this body rise up shall be the most excellent one among us. He will become the crown prince. Afterwards, they came to an agreement among themselves thus. They entered the body in due order. Jayant entered the feet. That body did not rise up. Daksh entered the private parts. That body did not rise up. Indra entered the hands. That body did not rise up. The sun entered the eye. That dead body did not rise up. The quarters entered the ears. That body did not rise up. Varuna entered the tongue. The body did not rise up. The divine physicians, Aswin, Devas, entered the nose. That body did not rise up. Fire god entered the organ of speech. That body did not rise up. Rudra entered the mind. That body did not get up. Afterwards, Pran entered. Then the dead body rose up. Thereupon, the Devas came to the decision that Pran, the Lord, is the most excellent one among all the Devas in strength, knowledge, courage, absence of attachment, and in living. They crowned it Yuvraj, heir apparent. They recited an Ukt, summon hymn, as he was the cause of excellent maintenance. Hence, the entire universe has Pran for its soul. The entire universe, consisting of mobile and immobile beings, is complete with all the parts and wholes endowed with strength. It, Pran, is complete, supreme Lord of the worlds. There is nothing in the universe devoid of Pran. It, thing devoid of Pran, has no existence. That which is devoid of Pran does not flourish. There is no existence without Pran. Nothing can subsist devoid of Pran. Hence, Pran became superior to all Jivas. It is more excellent in strength. It is the immanent soul of all individual souls. Nothing superior to or on a par with Pran has been seen or heard about before in the scriptural texts. Though Lord Pran is one, it is diversified in as much as it follows the different effects. Hence, they say that Pran is the most excellent one. Those who are eager to worship Pran say that Pran is competent to create, sustain, and annihilate the universe playfully. Excepting Vasudev, no one is competent to assail or excel it, whether it be conscious like the serpent says, Shiva, Shukra, and others, or inert. Pran is identified with all the Devas. He is the soul of the Devas, all the Devas. He is perpetual follower of Vasudev. He is always under the control of Vishnu. He neither hears nor sees anything opposed to Vasudev. The Devas, the leading Suras, including Rudra, Indra, etc., do act in opposition to Vasudev. But Pran, which is present in all, never opposes Vasudev. Hence, learned men say that Pran is the strength of Vishnu. After knowing the greatness and characteristics of Mahavishnu, a devotee should cast off the subtle body like a serpent casting off the slough. The subtle body which follows the Purva Bandh, Avidya, is to be left off. He then attains Narayana, free from illness. On hearing the words uttered by Shank, the hunter became delighted in his mind. He bowed down with humility and asked that sage once again, O Brahman, the greatness of Magnanimous Pran, the sire of the universe, is not known in the world. How is it that the greatness of Devas, sages, kings, and other noble souled ones is heard about in the world and in the Puranas thousands of times? Tell me this, O Brahman, I am very eager to hear. Shank said, formerly Pran was desirous of performing horse sacrifices in order to propitiate Narayana, Hari, free from ailments. So he joyously went to the banks of Ganga. He sanctified the ground by means of plows, surrounded by various groups of sages. There was a sage named Kanv, hidden within an anthill in the course of his transcendental meditation. He was dug up by means of these plows. Coming up, he spoke furiously. He cursed Pran, the great lord, as he saw him standing in front. O Lord of Devas, from now onwards your greatness will not be known in the three worlds, especially in the terrestrial worlds. Your incarnations will, however, become very well known in all the three worlds. On being told thus by the sage, Wind God, that is Pran, spoke to him furiously. I have been cursed without any offense, though I am free from sin and I am competent to suffer adversities. Hence, O Kanv, you will become inimical to your preceptor at once. Wind God said this also, be one of censurable conduct in the world, ever since that the greatness of the great Lord Pran is not known in this world, particularly on the earth. On account of the curse, Kanv ate his preceptor and became a disciple of Sun God. Thus, what has been asked by you has been entirely recounted. Whatever further has to be heard by you, O hunter, ask me. Do not hesitate. This was the 19th chapter of the Vaishakh Mas Mahatmya of the Vaishnav Khand of the Skand Puran. All those who are listening, please say with me, Jai Shri Hari Vishnu Bhagwan, Jai Mahalakshmi Mata. Friends, please like and share this video. Also do subscribe the channel. Thanks. Hare Krishna.